Hello! We're excited to show you our native speech capabilities.
Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode is especially for those learners who often tell themselves, I want to practice English, but I have no one to talk to. I hear this all the time, and honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons people stop trying. They believe speaking English is only possible when there's another person available, and if no one is around, practice simply cannot happen. But today, I want to completely change that belief. Because the truth is, you don't need a partner to practice English. You don't need a teacher sitting in front of you, and you don't need perfect conditions. What you actually need is the right mindset, the right methods, and the courage to start speaking even when no one is listening.
That's such an important point, Anna. I think many learners are waiting for the ideal situation to practice English, maybe a fluent friend or a class or a foreign environment. And while those things help, waiting for them can slow down progress a lot. Practicing alone at home can actually be incredibly powerful because it removes pressure. There's no judgment, no embarrassment, and no fear of being corrected. It becomes a safe space where you can experiment, make mistakes freely, and slowly build confidence without anyone interrupting or correcting you every few seconds.
Why practicing alone feels strange at first. Let's talk honestly for a moment. Practicing English alone can feel awkward in the beginning. You might feel strange talking to yourself, or you might think, is this even helping? That feeling is completely normal. As adults, we're not used to speaking out loud when no one is responding. But here's something important to understand. Fluency is not built only through conversation. It's built through repetition, familiarity, and comfort with your own voice in English. When you practice alone, you are training your brain to think in English and your mouth to move naturally without hesitation.
I agree completely. In fact, that initial discomfort is actually a sign that growth is happening. Your brain is adjusting to a new habit, and habits always feel uncomfortable at first. When learners push past that phase, when they stop feeling silly and just focus on expressing thoughts, something changes. They become more relaxed with English. Words start coming faster, pauses become shorter. And when they finally speak with other people, they're much more prepared because they've already practiced speaking out loud many times on their own.
Self-talk, the most powerful tool. One of the simplest and most effective ways to practice English alone is self-talk. And when I say self-talk, I don't mean memorizing sentences or reading from a book. I mean talking about your real life, your thoughts, your actions, and your feelings. For example, while you're making tea, you can say, I'm boiling water right now. I feel a little tired today, but I still have work to do. These sentences don't need to be perfect. What matters is that they are real, meaningful, and connected to your daily routine.
Yes, and self-talk helps because it removes pressure. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not worried about accents or grammar mistakes. You're simply expressing thoughts the same way you do silently in your head. Over time, this creates a habit of thinking in English instead of translating. That's a huge shift. When English becomes your default language for daily thoughts, even for small moments, you stop struggling to find words. They start appearing naturally because your brain is already used to operating in English.
Voice recording, your private speaking partner. Another powerful practice method is recording your voice. This might sound uncomfortable at first, but it's incredibly effective. You can take your phone, set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes, and talk about your day, your plans, or even your opinions on a topic. When you listen to the recording later, don't criticize yourself harshly. Instead, listen for clarity. Ask yourself, was my message understandable? Did I speak continuously? Improvement comes from awareness, not self-judgment.
And what's great about recordings is that they show progress over time. If you keep recordings from week to week, you'll clearly hear improvement in confidence, speed, and fluency. It also prepares you for real conversations because speaking into a recorder feels surprisingly similar to speaking to a person. You learn how to organize thoughts, how to continue when you pause, and how to explain ideas clearly, all without anyone interrupting you every few seconds.
Using questions to go deeper. One mistake learners make is practicing only surface-level sentences. To grow, you need depth. A great way to do this is by asking yourself questions and answering them in detail. For example, how was my day? Instead of giving a short answer, push yourself to explain more. Talk about what happened, how you felt, why it mattered, and what you learned. This trains you to speak longer, clearer, and more confidently.
That's such an important point. Long answers build stamina. They teach your brain to stay in English for extended periods without switching back to your native language. This kind of practice is especially useful for interviews, meetings, or casual conversations where short answers aren't enough. The more you train yourself to expand thoughts at home, the easier it becomes to express yourself fully in real-life situations.
Consistency over perfection. I want to say something very clearly here. Practicing English alone does not mean practicing perfectly. It means practicing consistently. 5 minutes every day is far better than 1 hour once a week. Don't wait to feel confident before you speak. Confidence comes after you speak, not before. Even on days when you feel tired, say a few sentences. That daily contact with English makes a huge difference over time.
Absolutely. Many learners underestimate the power of small daily effort. Fluency is not built in big jumps. It's built quietly, slowly, through repetition. And practicing alone gives you something very valuable: control. You decide when to speak, what to speak about, and how long to practice. That freedom helps reduce fear and builds a strong foundation for real conversations later.
If you're listening to this and thinking, I have no partner, so I can't improve, I want you to let go of that idea today. You are enough. Your voice is enough. Your home is enough. English doesn't need an audience to grow. It needs usage. Speak to yourself. Record yourself. Think in English. And most importantly, keep going even when it feels uncomfortable.
That's such a powerful message. Learning alone doesn't mean learning slowly. In many ways, it can be faster and more personal. If you stay consistent, patient, and kind to yourself, you'll be surprised how much your English improves long before you even speak to another person.
Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next episode.